Hi, how are you today? I'm doing well. Is this your first time here? Okay, yeah, no worries at all. Did you have any kind of specific drink in mind? You don't know? That's totally fine. I can kind of help you walk through some of our drink options and kind of see what sounds appealing to you, if that sounds good. Yeah? Okay, we're pretty slow right now, so we'll take our time and figure it out and get you the perfect drink, okay? So we've got all kinds of stuff here. Just like most coffee shops, we can do breves, we can do lattes, we can do anything blended, anything hot or iced. A lot of people like our signature mocha. A lot of people also like our honey lavender latte and our sweet and salty. Those are all some really great options if you like generic things. But if you have a more curated taste palette, we can definitely kind of go through the different options that we have and maybe like kind of build your own drink a little bit. How does that sound? Okay, yeah. So how is your knowledge on like different types of drinks like lattes, breves, cappuccino, americano, anything like that? Do you like a standard pour over? More toward espresso? Okay, yeah, no worries. We have some really, really great espresso options here. Let's see. Like I said, those honey lavender lattes are amazing. The sweet and salty is actually going to be a breve, so that's going to be made with half and half instead of whole milk. And as always, we can customize any drink to have your preference of milk. So if you like to use oat milk or almond milk, typically we can use that to replace any of the standard milk options in any of our drinks. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these other drinks that we could do. We could do just a latte, which would just be espresso and whole milk or any milk of your choice, but typically we would use whole milk in that. Is that something you're thinking about? Possibly. Okay. We could also do frappuccino or any kind of blended drink. Are you leaning towards a blended drink? No? Okay. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the blended drinks either. I typically like a stronger, more coffee-based flavor compared to something more sweet. What is your preference there? Do you like something more sweet or a little less? A little less? Okay. Do you mind it being kind of in the middle? Because I would say our best drinks do have syrup in them. We do add flavor to our best drinks. So it's not just a plain espresso, a plain latte, a plain breve. So they do have a little bit of flavor and a little bit of syrup, but we can definitely make it half sweet for you if that's something that sounds appealing. Okay. So latte is a maybe. Let's look at a breve. A breve is going to be just espresso and half and half. It's going to be a lot of half and half. So typically, let me grab one of our cups for you to show you. We only have one size, but I will show you. These cups are so high up there, I can never reach. So this is going to be this is going to be a 12-ounce cup. This is our iced cup, so all of our drinks are 12 ounces. All of our iced drinks are going to be 12 ounces. So typically the espresso, if you do a double shot, which is what standard is for this size of drink, there would be 2 ounces of espresso, and then most of the cup will be filled with ice, and that usually accounts for about 4 ounces. So we're looking at about 6 ounces of milk or half and half for a latte or a breve. How does that sound? Okay, and we can adjust that any way you want. If you want light ice, we just add more milk. If you want an extra shot of espresso, we can do that as well. Whatever you want, we can customize it however you like, okay? So that's going to be our ice drinks. And then hot drinks, we actually have a pretty good selection of mugs. This is just a couple of them to show the different sizes. So this is going to be a smaller mug. I don't know the actual ounce size of this, but it is pretty small. So this is going to be our small hot, and this is going to be our regular hot. We have the 2 sizes that you can choose from. It is pretty warm out today. Don't mind my sweater, it gets chilly in here. But it is pretty warm out today, so most people are liking the iced coffees right now. Is that something you're thinking you might be leaning towards, or you maybe want something hot? Something cold. Yeah, I've definitely been drinking my iced lattes and my iced brevets a lot more recently, but I think the best hot drink to have is a peppermint mocha. I mean, you literally just cannot go wrong with a peppermint mocha, especially in the winter time. And this is a little controversial. You might disagree, but I'm not a huge fan of pumpkin spice. Not a huge fan. It's not bad, but I just don't understand why it's so hyped up. So I typically don't go for the pumpkin spice in the fall. But I am a big peppermint mocha latte lover. And you can get those year-round. By the way, we have some peppermint syrup right here. And then our chocolate sauce stays in the fridge, which just cut off momentarily. And it'll probably cut back on in just a second because it's pretty loud. So yeah, we've got peppermint syrup, we've got the mocha. So if you are thinking about doing a hot drink, or maybe just taste testing a little bit, we could make you a hot drink, a hot peppermint mocha, and see how you like that. But if you're leaning toward the ice drinks, we can start to look into those a little bit more. Okay, yeah, perfect. So we can do a latte, we can do an iced latte, we could do a breve, again, that's half and half. We could do a cappuccino, we could do a macchiato, which has just a different type of mixing technique, and a different order of putting the things in the cup. So typically with a latte or a breve, what we do is we make the espresso first, and we mix that with the flavor, the syrup or sauce or whatever we're putting in, and then we mix the milk in together with it. But with a macchiato, what we do is we pour the milk into the cup first with the ice, and then the espresso comes over top. And we don't mix it up for you. It just comes with that really pretty look of the milk on the bottom and this coffee kind of dripping down into the milk. So a lot of people like those because they're pretty, and then you mix it together and it's really not any different than making just a latte or a breve. So how does that sound to you? We could try a macchiato. Okay, so are you wanting to get some flavor in? Yeah, I would definitely suggest it. So let's take a look here at the macchiatos. So we have all kinds of different flavors. Are there any flavors that you typically lean towards? Okay, just about anything. I would say that my favorite, it's hard to pick because I like different kinds of flavors typically. So I love a mocha. I love just an iced mocha. I also love a honey lavender latte. And that one's a little controversial because some people, I mean, you either love or you hate the lavender flavor. People who hate it say that it tastes just like flowers, like you're eating flowers, but I don't know what it is about it. I just really like it. So I'll show that to you right now, actually. And we're actually running low right now. I might need to restock it soon. So this is going to be our lavender syrup, and you can see it's purple. It is purple, but if I had to describe this flavor to you, it is definitely floral. And it's not something you typically expect in a drink, especially a coffee. But it's not too sweet. It's very unique, which I love. And it is floral. Do you want to take a smell? Put this over the sink. What do you think? Yeah, it does kind of remind me of more like a flavor for like a mixed drink, like a cocktail. It definitely does lean towards that, yeah. And we typically mix that with honey to make a really nice blend of flavors. So we've got our honey here. I also have this raspberry syrup, and we also have white chocolate, and also just regular chocolate sauce. And a lot of people really like a white chocolate raspberry drink. Now you could make this into a really, really pretty macchiato. I've seen some cool things put together with some colored syrup. And again, the raspberry is not something you would expect to be, you know, it's not very typical in a coffee drink. You might not think it's gonna be amazing, but it will actually surprise you. But you can't overload it. It is a very, very strong flavor. Alright, so if we're leaning toward that macchiato, we also have brown sugar cinnamon syrup. And most of these are going to be Torani. And they're pretty sweet, so you have to be careful with the amount you put in there. So if you're not a fan of super, super sweet drinks, I'll definitely do it half sweet for you because the recommended amount does make a pretty sweet drink in my opinion. I'm on the same page as you. I don't like super, super sweet drinks, but I do like flavor. So the brown sugar cinnamon, I would say, is probably our strongest flavor. It's a little bit overwhelming, honestly. Now this is a mix of two flavors. This is going to be our sweet and salty syrup. It is just 1 part salted caramel, 1 part white chocolate, and I don't know how, but it is like a potion. It is so good, and this is not something I would have ever envisioned myself liking because I like more dark and rich flavors like mocha, like just regular dark chocolate mocha, but this is amazing. It is. It's really good, and we usually make it as a breve. An iced breve is my favorite way to enjoy this syrup, so I would definitely recommend this one. I don't really know. You wanna smell it? I don't really know how to describe the flavor to you. It is a good flavor though. This one's a little bit thicker because it's got that white chocolate in it. Now it does smell very strong. That caramel is a very, very strong scent. But it's good, isn't it? Oh, it's so good. And I will say that once you put this in coffee, the strength of that flavor kind of blends into the espresso. It is not a slap in the face like it smells like it would be. I've smelled many like car scents from Bath and Body Works and all kinds of places that have scents that strong, and I can't stand it. And if that strong of a scent was turned into a flavor in my coffee, I'd probably hate it. But once it's blended in the coffee, I would say it definitely tastes very, very different than the way that it smells by itself. So I would stay open to that. And then again, we've got our peppermint syrup right there. And we do also blend all of our espresso beans fresh for every drink. Hey kitty. Excuse her. She's a very big people person. She's sweet though. This is Butters, my sweet little kitty. She comes here with me every day. She loves to hang out. But she's curious, so you might see her another time or two. But yes, we do blend these in for each drink. So they're very, very fresh in each drink, which makes actually a way bigger difference than you would think. For the longest time, we would pre-grind our espresso beans or our coffee beans for pour over. And the flavor, I would say even within a singular day, just dissipates. The flavor is just gone. So fresh grinding for every drink is our new policy, which I really, really love. And I think you will too. Alright, so those are our main flavors right here. These are definitely our most popular flavors. I have a few more in the back that I could pull out, but I'd say if we're trying something for the first time here, I would recommend one of these. Did any of them catch your eye? Any of them sound a little extra appealing? Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely hooked on the white chocolate raspberry. We can also do just dark chocolate raspberry if you want something a little less sweet. Would you like to try that? Okay, we can try that. I'm gonna actually just put this in the system. I'm not going to charge you just yet. I'd like to see your thoughts on the drink first. And you'll probably be our last customer of the day. We'll probably we'll probably be closing after this since it's getting kind of dark out. Do you typically like to get coffee later in the day? Me too. I don't know why. I grew up drinking caffeine all the time. Like, I truly like almost didn't even drink water. I just drank like soda all the time. Then I started drinking coffee, and so I can have a coffee at like 7 or 8 p.m. And it's funny, I'll bring it home and my boyfriend will be like, why do you have a coffee? It's like 8 o'clock. You don't need to drink that, you'll be up all night. He should know by now I won't be up all night. I don't know why, it just doesn't affect me. Okay, so we're gonna get started on that macchiato. I'm actually gonna clean up a little bit first. Okay. Some grounds over here in our little setup. So for a macchiato, an iced macchiato, first thing I like to do is get my espresso machine ready, and then I'm gonna set up my grinder as well. Sorry, you didn't ask for a whole tutorial, but since you're the only one here, I thought it'd be nice to kind of show you what we do. So I'm gonna fill this cup with ice, and we go ahead and fill it pretty much all the way. Now, sometimes customers don't like this, and they're like, you're not even giving me any product because that cup is full. But I promise we are. All those little gaps in the ice make up 3/4 of the rim in the cup. So, alrighty. And a lot of that ice will also kind of disappear down into the cup once we pour in the espresso because it's very warm. Now, I'm gonna take my little measuring cup, and I think the key to making drinks consistently at a coffee shop is using measuring cups. I've worked at a few different coffee shops before I opened this one, and there were a few that didn't use measuring cups and just kind of eyeballed everything. And then there were the ones that did, and there is a very clear difference in the consistency of the flavor of their drinks. Now, what I've just done is taking my portafilter and put in the double shot filter inside. It's pretty big, you can see, pretty deep. And I'm gonna set that there. So typically for a 12-ounce drink, we would put 2 ounces of flavor. But since you like it kind of half sweet, I'm just gonna do 1 ounce, okay? So I'm gonna do 1 ounce of chocolate. Maybe a little bit less since we're gonna be putting that raspberry in there. Made a little mess. And what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna pour this ice out really quick so that I can give you a little bit of chocolate drizzle in the cup to make it pretty. So we just drizzle around the top like this. And that's gonna create the perfect drizzle down and around the cup. You can see as it moves down. Not too much chocolate to where it's just sitting in the bottom. And I'm gonna put some more ice back in that cup. Look how ready that is though. Now the ice is gonna move it around, unfortunately. Now typically I like to pull a blank shot just to make sure that the machine is clean. But since I already put the espresso or the flavor into my little glass, my little measuring glass, I'm just gonna clean it out by hand. Those old grounds out of there. And I'm gonna turn on my grinder. With the grinder, I'm just gonna grind enough to pull a double shot for your drink, okay? Okay, so you can see the espresso is poured in there really beautifully. And this is a very, very important step. I'm gonna tamp the espresso. Press that down, and then I like to dust off the excess to make sure we're not getting any grinds in the drink. So now that that's pressed down, I'm gonna put this into the espresso machine. Take our little cup, pull a double shot. Okay, now that that's done, I'm gonna remove my portafilter. And with most other machines, this would be dry enough to put in the knock box, which is this. But for some reason, this machine pours really, really wet shots. Like the shots are still pretty watery after pouring, so I'm gonna let that dry out a little bit right here. So now we've got our chocolate sauce and our espresso in the mixing cup. So I'm gonna mix this together. And I'm actually gonna grab another mixing cup to measure out our milk to pour into our glass to make sure we don't put too much and that we can fit our espresso in there. And we'll be able to fit about 8 ounces total of liquid. 8 ounces into this cup with the ice in there, since it's a 12-ounce glass. So I'm gonna grab my milk. And I'm actually gonna use half and half. So this is gonna be kind of like a breve macchiato. And I'm just gonna do, let's see, about 4 ounces. Maybe a little bit less, just to make sure we have all the room we need for that espresso and chocolate. All right, so I've got about 3.5 ounces of milk. It's gonna go into the cup. Now typically for a latte or a breve, that milk would have gone straight into the measuring cup, which kind of acts to cool down the espresso a little bit before you put it into the cup of ice. But since we're making a macchiato, we're gonna do it this way. And I'm gonna experiment a little bit. Now typically I would put the raspberry into here, but I wanna see if we can see the pink color. So I'm gonna rinse this cup out, just so I can make sure I'm not putting too much raspberry. And I'm gonna do just like half an ounce of raspberry. We want this to be a very, very subtle flavor for you. Very, very, very subtle. All right, that should be plenty. Maybe even too much, but I'm gonna pour most of this in here. And that's gonna go on top of the milk. Okay, so it sunk to the bottom immediately. And now that we've got all that in there, I'm gonna just pour the espresso in. There goes the fridge again, a little fridge. Now, all of the kind of colors blended pretty quickly because of the chocolate sauce that I poured in and because of the raspberry syrup. So I'm gonna go ahead and just mix that up. And it's looking very nice and yummy. So give that a taste for me. Let me know what you think. And if you want to try something else, we can try something else. How is it? Good? Handing it back. Yeah. Is it a little too strong for you? Guys, I'm gonna break character. This is the best drink I've ever made. I didn't even mean to do that. That's really good. Oh my gosh, hold on. Okay, well, we've broken character already. So if you're still awake and you're seeing this, make this drink. I mean, you literally just got the full recipe from me. This is the best drink I've ever made in my life. Holy crap. That is delicious. I'm glad I got that on video so I can have the recipe. Right back in character. And we're gonna pretend that you kept the drink. Thanks for playing along. Well, I'm so glad that you came in, and the drink is gonna be on the house since this was your first time. We like to always treat our first time customers with, you know, extra love and hospitality. So I hope you've enjoyed your time here, and I really hope that you'll come see us again. Have a good day. Bye, guys. Bonus cleaning ASMR. On a side note, this stuff, unreal. It's so yummy. That's a lie. It doesn't taste like anything. I haven't eaten this. It smells so good is what I meant to say. Method Sandalwood and Cedar all-purpose cleaner from Target. I got chocolate everywhere. I actually made way less of a mess than I typically do when I'm making coffee though. I am in pure disbelief. Pretty much everything cleaned up. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one.